If you are to get free, you must sacrifice. Are we together? Even Museveni to reach State House, we were together in the bush. He used to walk hundreds of miles on foot, hungry, bitten by mosquitoes. Rain comes, you have no protection. Anything, you pass through difficulties to reach where you want to go. Are we together? We must overcome money. Because it was part of the problem, we couldn't even, part of the postponement of this delegates conference was because we had no money. But if we resolve that we are here to fight, whether we have money, whether there is food, whether there is not, you tighten your belt until you get where we are going. Are we together? So those, please, those Zendwala Arusa, I can't manage. We respect your problems, step aside. Okay? Step aside. Where we are is tightening belts and we move. If I collapse even on the way as we move, there is no time to all come back, cry, or we have lost someone. No. Continue, finish the job. We shall sort out the burials later. Let us move and solve the problem. Thirdly, apart from money and fear, propaganda. Propaganda is a weapon of the regime. Propaganda. They get something, they saturate it. Before you know, even yourself, you are repeating their propaganda. Are we together? Recently you had this gentleman who has just died, Tamale Mirundi. He said, shortly before his passing on, he said, basically, I am the one who tied the Equatorial Hotel on him. I designed that, he's the owner of Equatorial Hotel, and that was part of a narrative to say basically is very rich. He's actually the same as he's working with Museveni. And they drummed up that propaganda until people started saying, maybe, you never know. So propaganda, we must be aware of propaganda. And if you get something, please verify, try to verify, not to spread their propaganda. Are we together? Their propaganda is to cause a mistaken belief that they will be solving your problem, like they are now drumming up.
It's up to you to take a decision one way or the other. As I conclude, I would like to formally bring to the attention of this delegates conference a lamentably grave concern regarding some of our colleagues whom I would want to call the Kisumu 36, who would ordinarily be with us this morning, but regrettably are languishing in Chitalia and Luzira prisons over trumped-up charges of terrorism. As part of our continuous political mentorship program, 35 leaders of the party traveled to Kisumu, Kenya, on the 23rd of June 2024 through the designated border points and were cleared by the immigration departments of Uganda and Kenya for a week-long training at Ukweli Catholic Pastoral Community Center. Unfortunately, they were violently abducted from their hotel rooms together with a refugee, Mr. Simon Rutarondwa, hosted by the Kenya government in the wee hours of 24th June 2024, shortly after their arrival. They were tortured, their property, to wit computers, telephones, and other personal effects confiscated. They were illegally removed from Kenya and charged with terrorism without any due process or passing through the immigration protocols. On the 6th of October 2024, we petitioned the High Commission of Kenya in Uganda in a communication referenced that one, registering the party's displeasure over the same. This grotesque operation constituted an affront to not only the Bill of Rights, but also the national laws governing extradition and deportation. No, yes, the international laws, not national laws. The international law governing extradition and deportation and all aspects, and in all aspects, this amounted to a crime of torture indictable under Article 5 of the Rome Statute. As a sovereign state and senior partner of the East African community, it was a great breach of trust for the Kenyan government and the Kenyan people to allow Ugandan security operatives to commit crime on the citizens of Uganda and whisk them away under their watch, much against the international law principle of pacta sunt servanda in relation to extradition laws of both countries and the East African Treaty, because we are free to move within the region unfettered. We expressed our deep concern and sought responses as to whether Kenya government was aware of this abduction, whether the impunity of the Ugandan state security operatives in Kenya, as demonstrated by the kidnapping of the FDC leaders and the blatant abuse of their rights sanctioned by the Kenyan government. Is Uganda declared a Kenya hostile neighbor with terrorist training camps from which Uganda government has chosen to operate within it. Our party leaders were deported. We want to know whether our party leaders were deported or extradited by the Kenyan authorities, which have said did not conform or comply to the international laws and standards. And finally, is Kenya safe for visitors, tourists, or business? We wanted to get answers to all those questions. Unfortunately, as we speak today, we are yet to get any response. Very unfortunate. For the record, the full list of the Kisumu 36 is here under. Yes, they were mentioned by the Honorable Salam Musumba, but because of the significance of this matter, allow me to read the list again. Sam Makoha, Simon Rutalondwa, that is the refugee, who incidentally is supposed to be protected by Kenya. We want to know if actually they handed him over to Uganda in total breach of international laws. Dr. George Kwaro, Charles Nkonge, Poka Wanguzi, Nasuru Basalirwa, Latif Waiswa Maido, Charles Wangabu Kenya, Kitambilike Mbago Buyinza, Kasera John Mangen, Hakim Bukenya, Peter Sozi Olinga, Walter Obang, Chankara Moses Mwaka, Yosia Kaigo, George Wanzige, Innocent Museveni Rubarondesa, Edward Nachibinge Wasajja, Dennis Nono Owachigu, Grace Narunkuma, Florence Laram, Denmark Adios Beinomukisha, Ronald Muhinda, Henry Mpungu, Ronald Sozi Naguba, Richard Tugabirwe, Sirino Okero, Owen Aibisiwe, Simon Peter Nsubuga, Adam Wakabi, Conod Kimonge, Henry Buyondo, Fairuzi Ngobi, Robert Owamani, Arthur Kugumisiriza, and Sarah Apare. Our dear comrades are still held as political prisoners, and the state prosecution on the last appearance, which was apparently conducted via Zoom, had the audacity of exhibiting their usual arrogance by telling the court that they were not in a hurry to finalize the investigations, since they had a latitude of time of 6 months within which to do so. The court was accordingly adjourned to 26th August 2024. Members, I invite you, whoever can make it on that day, let us storm court to secure freedom and liberties of our colleagues. 26th, keep it in your diary. However, I am pleased to inform you that their spirits are solid, indomitable, and they are ever chanting, "We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I believe we shall overcome someday." Honorable Commander Commander Land Forces, you should teach me more about, and I suggest we should make it our anthem. One of these days we should discuss this. Embridi Tulinawe, you clap for her. She's a real fighter, and she has commanded all the forces. In the same vein, no, before I come to that, allow me also thank the legal team. Wanda, Ronald, and the team who are here. Thanks very much. Bayan Tulinawe. Where is Bayan Tulinawe? Thanks. But from day one, he has been pursuing that matter. That one is a son to Honorable Ingrid Tulinawe, and he's doing wonders in that area. We are mentoring him. He's very good. He's very promising. We thank you for the commitment. In the same vein, I wish to salute our gallant leaders and members who have stood solidarity with our forces Chisum 36 by way of contributing towards their welfare, both in prison and some of their loved ones. You can continue with that generosity to keep our family, the families of our comrades, strong and surviving. I also recognize the efforts of those members who faced the wrath of the state machinery in the course of delivering the protest note to the Kenyan High Commission and ended up being remanded for 2 nights on a ridiculous charge of being a nuisance. These ones were led by Dr. Kamara. When they pushed Dr. Kamara as if they were pushing an elephant. Very, very unfortunate. An elephant is Enjo. He looked like a real Jojo as they were pushing him. And the charge of nuisance and either disorder, you know the way they are treating it these days. Anyway, we shall have time to discuss that. All these protests, whoever they arrest, either disorder, nuisance. If you hold a placard like this, Anita must resign, that you are either disorder. Anita Mongo must resign, you are a nuisance. Now, who is a nuisance between these current Ugandans and the Anita Mongo?
Chiruma, Chanaku, Naye, Katulina, Gidisorofinga, Oba, Disakura, Oxinzira Mukawai, Akasa Mukaga, Akasemateka FDC, Iranga Kata, Pirio Gay. Twino kudissolvinga ekibiina ekyo oluvannyuma lw'okwennukusi ya myezi 6 olwaleero obukulembeze bwange bukwasibwa obuyinza bwongezeddwayo ekisanja ekirala nga muwulidde resolution efulumye bwongezeddwayo ekisanja ekirala naye kasooke mbawo resolutions. Namba 1 tuggalewo FDC, namba 2 tutandike ekibiina ekipya oba tufuneyo ekirala kyetuyingiramu tukitereeza tukitambuliremu. Ekyokusatu obukulembeze bwange bwongeddwayo ekisanja bukole ku mulimu ogwo. Ekyokuna okuvumirira ebyabadde okuvumirira gavumenti ku nsonga z'ekiteezi olw'okubanga yalagajjalira abantu ba. Ekirala be bantu baffe abasibiddwa 36 abali emizira ne babanga baggaliddwa bwemage nga balina okuteebwa era nga tulina okukola kyonna ekisoboka. Then n'omulimu ogw'okwatagana n'ebibiina ebirala tubenga tutambuza olutabaalo luno n'okulaba abantu baffe bano abavubuka abazze basibibwa entakera bisango simanya nuisance and disorder, abavubuka abajenizi abalwanyisa enzi okulaba nti no tuvumirirwa ekyokuba tulugunya n'okubasibira obwereere nabo political prisoners abasibiridwa obwereere nga tukivumirira. Naye ekiddako akaseera kano kwe kubanga amangu ddala nga bwe kisoboka omulimu tugenda gutandikako kumwaku. Amateeka tugategeera bulungi, waayiro twabwetegerezza dda, kyannaku nnyo nti akaseera kano kati tuli kuteekateeka gyeyita tombstone, ejjinja erigenda ku kabbuli lyabadde munywanyi waffe, kitaffe, maama waffe FDC. Tugenda kuteekateeka enteekateeka ey'okumuziika mu myezi 6. Omulimu ogwo ngwasiddwa n'ettiimu yange. Sirina kyakukola, amaziga agakulukuta, naye inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi Sorrow with me, it's all with my soul. Gone too soon, FDC. Mukama, akwekyobulo. Tugenda kuteekateeka nziika myezi 6. Buvunaanyizibwa bw'olukwasire. Ekyokubiri kwe kutandikawo ekyombo ekipya ekigenda otusaabaza mu mayengo getulimu akaseera kano. Ekyombo ekyo tulina enteekateeka nnyingi zetugenda okulambulula mu maaso awo ez'okulaba nti ekyombo kino n'enkasi gye tukutte kitusaabaza amayengo g'ennyanja getulimu mu ggwanga lyaffe. Kyekibiina ekipya era proposals weziri already ku table. Amannya baagatuwadde ge balowoozaako nebitya bwe tuyinza okukikola oba tulina bye tukwata ekibiina ekirala oba tutandikawo kipya ne tutandika registration y'emikono 55 okuva mu districts oba biki ebyo byonna tugenda bikolako. Tubanye emiziziko egiriwo owamwambi abaka mu kuwandiisa ekibiina tukitegeera bulungi, naye njagala bakakasa nti tumaliridde obukulembeze bwaffe bwange bwenkulembera tumaze okwebuulirira ku mulimu ogwo. Tugenda kwanganga byabakama kala FDC tumanye agenda kututeekawo obuzizi naye tugenda kufaafaagana naye ne bwe kinaaba kyetaaga mutwala mukotu tujja mutwala FDC tulina okikola. Ekyo mbakakasa. Ekyokubiri tumanyi tugenda kwanganga byabakama mu kuwandiisa ekibiina ekipya naye nakyo obuvumu n'obumalirivu byonna tubirina omulimu ogwo tugenda kugukola. So n'ebigambo ebyo tusaba Omukama atukwatireko olugendo olwo yesi bwangu ne mbakakasa tujja bifuuka Omukama ndowooza bye yes wanti njagala kino mukitegeero nze ndi ku tiketi ya FDC musiteho ne bamemba ba FDC bye bali ku parliament. Bwe tutandika process tekitegeeza nti FDC tugivuddemu oba kikomyawo. Tukyaliwo nga FDC okumala ebbanga eryo lye tugenda okudda wano tulangirire mu butongole kati FDC tugimaliriza okugisanyawo era olwaleero temulipotinga tugigaddewo. Olwaleero tutandise ku nteekateeka.
I would also like to distinctly recognize the people who founded the Forum for Democratic Change, who built the vision for struggle of Uganda to liberate it. Let's put our hands together for all the founders of this party. And I'd like also to equally thank, it has been 20 years, the veterans, people who have been in the trenches, who have fought, who have sacrificed whatever they have to build what has been built in the last 20 years. All our veterans, put your hands together for them. I would also like to recognize our colleagues who have fought hard and long, but who are no longer with us, who perished in the struggle, shot by our enemies, tortured and killed in prisons by our enemies, those who died of stress and all other things who are no longer with us. A minute of silence for our fallen heroes. May the good Lord watch upon all of them, forgive them what they may have done wrong, and grant them eternal peace. And I also recognize those who have been injured, maimed, and there are many sitting among us here who are on crutches, who are disabled in many ways, including my brother whom I had this morning being recognized, Haruna Byamukama from Chenjojo. who has been in a wheelchair since 2006. That is a good 15 years. Haruna Byamukama was shot at Bulange. He's a luckier one. 3 died instantly at Bulange. In front of me, all these boys are shot in front of me at Bulange. And many others who have been shot, who have been killed in the different places of Uganda. Put your hands together for all these injured people. Among those who have departed, of course, I should recognize the person who sang that Toka Kwa Barabara. Adam Mulwana, rest in peace. You made your contribution. Put your hands together for Adam Mulwana. And similarly, Harriet Chisache, you may not recall, she passed on a little earlier, but she was a wonderful voice for struggle in the music industry. Put your hands together for Harriet. I want in a special way to recognize and thank one of the founders who was the leader of the National Democratic Forum, NDF, Museveni. We normally call him Chairman Chapa Karuhanga, who is the landlord of Katonga Road. Without being of extraordinary courage, there would be no Katonga Road. It has been focused on, he has been terrorized, he has been offered all kinds of things. That's why he now lives in exile in Lusaka, and we are able to still be here in Katonga Road. Put your hands together for Chairman Chapa Karuhanga. I haven't had the hands together. And I can go on and thank, there are many people to thank, but as I said, I'm talking to very hungry and thirsty people. My work today, what I intended to talk about, has been touched on by Dr. Godba in describing what the challenge we have to overcome is. What is the struggle about? The struggle is about to regain our country. We have no country. Our country is captured. We have no wealth. Our wealth is captured. We are not even as good as refugees. Refugees have the UN which looks after them. We have no one to look after us. We are worse than refugees. So that's the challenge, that we live in a country which is not ours. Our struggle is to regain control of the country. We must regain control of the country. And I differ from Godba, certainly. I don't think we shall regain control by encouraging Museveni to give up. That you have done your work, now it is time. Museveni doesn't need encouragement. He needs to be very strongly pushed out of power, and the country returns to our hands. And that is why we are here. We are here to organize, to regain control of the country. And regaining control of the country is not a simple task. It will not come on a silver plate. We must know, why haven't we regained the country up to now? has been 20 years. Why? Why have we failed in 20 years to gain control of the country? And we must overcome what has made us fail up to today. And the first thing that we must overcome is the fear of the dictator. People are terrified. They think a dictator has a lot of power. Dictators are weak. They are paper tigers. If you meet a paper tiger, you may think it is a real tiger until you kick it and you see that it was, after all, a paper tiger. Mr. Museveni is a paper tiger. We must cast our fear away and face the paper tiger and tear it into the pieces it is. And I am encouraged. I saw when young people recently said they are going to demonstrate against corruption. Mr. Museveni, the paper tiger, came up and said, you dare, I will kill you. I will, he, moved a lot of dust. I am glad the young people dared and came. In spite of those threats, people came. Are they there or they are not there? Have they died or they haven't? They have pricked the paper tiger. Next time, it should be everyone, not just those few. Those who remained behind, warm up. The paper tiger must go. And that is our duty here. So ladies and gentlemen, we are reorganizing FDC for struggle. For what? To regain our country. We are not reorganizing FDC primarily to get jobs in Museveni's government. No. We want to reorganize the party to join with all other Ugandans to regain control of the country. And we shall regain control of the country by the grace of God. So ladies and gentlemen, even after we create for ourselves the home we call ours, we must mobilize and unite with all Ugandans of whatever party description, provided their agenda is to regain control of the country. In other words, regaining control of the country is not a partisan project. Are we together? Even if you have no party, even if you are a doctor in the hospital, even if you are a soldier in the military, you are a policeman, it is your duty to regain control of the country. I mobilize, I call upon you all soldiers of NRA, where I fought. We didn't fight for family rule. Wherever you are, stand up and we liberate our country. This country must go back to the hands of Uganda. And as I wind up, because as I've said, time is gone, people are hungry. I would like to tell you my own view, what I see ahead. What I see ahead, some people think that the 20 years were wasted. No. We didn't arrive where we were going, but the 20 years have already broken down what was the system of Mr. Museveni. It is wobbling all over the place, waiting for us to push it. Are we together? Yes. Today, Mr. Museveni can hardly pay his workers. He can't. In fact, this budget, they said they have passed the budget in Parliament. All the money he hopes to get in taxes will not be enough to pay interest alone on the debts he has. All our taxes They want to collect this year 31 trillion. That's what they have put as a target for taxes this year. But the money they have to pay in interest for the loans they have already consumed, they need 34 trillion. So they must, and they will not be able to collect the 31 because we don't have it. Even if they kill us, we don't have it. So they will not collect the 31. You have seen the shopkeepers rioting. The shopkeepers can't pay the taxes. So they will not collect the 31. But even if they collected the 31, they will need to borrow another 3 to pay interest on the debts. So they will, after borrowing 3, taking our taxes, they will remain at 0. So all the salaries they will have to pay the policemen, the soldiers, the RDCs, the ministers, the MPs, all the salaries this year, we are going to borrow them. They will have to borrow everything they spend this year. And they were borrowing abroad. The people abroad have told them, go away, we are no longer lending to you. So now the only place they have to borrow from is from ourselves. So we are closing in on them when they have no capacity to defend themselves any longer. The police you hear, all these police vehicles you see have no fuel in them. They don't. If you go to the police station, it is you to buy the paper on which to write. The police is stuck. Everyone is stuck. So ladies and gentlemen, they got to that situation because we have maintained the pressure on them all these years. Our fight has not been in vain. What needs to be done is to finish it up. We just need to finish it up. So we are dealing already with someone who is finished actually. And you know, once you become weak, this is the law of nature. Everybody wants to displace you. Isn't it? So now, the people in the Museveni's palace, they now see a weakling there. And you have seen already they are fighting to replace you while he is still looking. You know? So there is a war even going on within there because the power itself is weak. It's become very weak. So ladies and gentlemen, this, I think I heard they are talking about 6 months to wind up FDC, 6 months to bring the new formation. You have another duty within the 6 months. I think within those 6 months we must do everything in our power to make sure that the new formation is in a new environment altogether. Are we together? Not a new formation in prison also. And it's possible. So I walked around all the regions recently, mobilizing people to organize themselves. Rebuild Power 10. Rebuild Power 10. Rebuild on the ground Power 10. The young people especially. This struggle is for the young people, not for me. I am in the evening of my years. Nzembarwanirako. I am only fighting on your behalf, not for myself. I have nothing to beat myself. But I have given you the years I still have. But as they say, the closest relative of the dead person is the one who touches the most problematic place on the dead person. Are we together? So even if we are fighting, the young people stand up and be counted. Get up and we remove this nonsense and we reorganize our country. Yes, in the transition, after these have gone, one of the activities of the transition will have to be reconciling the country. The country definitely will need to be reconciled. There is a lot of hatred amongst ourselves, which needs to be processed so that we become one Uganda, one people. That is for the transition. For now, the young people. And the young people, if you hear anybody talking about an opposition person, whether FDC or not, as your enemy, know that that person is an enemy. Are we together? Doesn't matter. That's why we had here the different political formations. They are our brothers and sisters in there. Are we together? And I must, in that regard, I didn't see the National Unity Platform people here, but I am glad we have been in touch. Their leaders are in Canada, they have been in the US, but they sent us a significant financial contribution to whatever we are doing here. They are together with us, and we must remain together with everybody who is fighting to cause change. There will be people who falter in all places. Even in FDC, as you have seen, there are people who want a shortcut. In every place you'll find shortcutters. We must not be diverted by those. We must keep on moving together with anyone who wants change, who is ready to fight for change. Time is now. The junta is weak. We are strong. Let us move and close the deal. Tuchigale. Tuchigale. Kisera chituse. Time is up to close the deal. People are tired. Let's close this deal. So thank you so much. You know, I think I talked about ending fear, but I didn't talk about the other elements that has stopped us to. I didn't talk about the other elements that have stopped us getting where we are going up to now. Apart from fear, the second most dangerous enemy we are facing is money. Okay? Apart from fear, the next most dangerous enemy is money. Because I told you that our wealth was captured by Mr. Museveni and his family. Everything is the controller of our money. Are we together? So he is now using that money to control us. It means if we have to fight to overcome him, we must overcome the temptation to be controlled by. Are we together? It's a struggle. I've been telling young people here, sometimes you invite them from Makerere. You say, come and we meet at Katonga. They say, we don't have transport. To come from Makerere to, does one need transport?
So, we were sanyufu. Tubebaziza okunyerera ku nsonga n'okugumira embeera enzibu nga waliwo okusongoozebwa ababawa ssente, ababawa bbiya, ababayita kukola biki, naye ne banywerera ku mulamwa gw'ekibiina ogw'okununula eggwanga. Beebazizza nnyo ne bannange bonna abayogedde Mulondi Nsalo Erias Lukwago pulezidenti atambuza ekibiina kyaffe olwaleero naye yabawadde alipooti yonna n'abeebaza n'abawa alipooti eyava kusisinkana n'okuwuliriza bannakibiina eyo bitundu gye bava ku nsonga ezaali zigenda mu maaso mu kibiina. Kubasinkana kwalina okubategeeza mu bujjuvu ekyagwa mu kibiina. So baatuwa bye balowooza olwaleero mubadde mulimu gwa kubikuŋŋaanya n'okubigatta biveemu ekintu ekimu. Era nga bwe mwawulidde Muloodi yasomye ebiva mu mbeera eyo yonna ey'okusinkana bannakibiina mu ggwanga lyonna, ng'ensonga enkulu ezibaddemu zibadde za kutandika kkiriziganya kutandika omulimu gw'okuggalawo ekibadde ekibiina kyaffe ekya FDC naye ne kiggwamu ebizibu. N'ekyokubiri ekyo nga kirina myezi 6, ssemateeka waffe akiwa myezi 6 kukitambuza kukituusa wekiggweera. N'ekyokubiri kutandika enteekateeka ezizimba ekibiina ekipya, era ebintu ebyo byombi bijja kutambulira awamu. N'ekyokusatu nti ababadde batukulembera mu biseera bino bagende mu maaso nga be bavunaanibwa ku nsonga ez'ebbi okuggalawo n'okugulawo. So tusuubira nti era tujja kusinkana wano oba awalala okumaliriza ensonga ezo n'okugulawo byangu okututwala mbeera empya. Naye ng'ebyo bitadde ebbali wawaddewo era n'okukkiriziganya okuvumirira obulyake n'obubbi obufumbekedde mu gavumenti obuviiriddeko mu bizibu ebiyitirivu ebitugwako, okufiirwa abantu abangi ekiteezi. KCC ewebadde eyiwa kasasiro ne ssente zandibadde zimutegekera eri zibbibwa okutuusa obutawaana bwebaguddewo bwaviiriddeko abantu abayitirivu okufa, emaali y'abantu empitirivu okwonoonebwa, n'ebisolo eby'enjawulo okufiiramu n'ebintu ebirala bwe bityo. Okuvumirira n'okuteeka omusango ogwo butereevu ku mutwe gwa mwami Museveni nakyo kyabadde ekimu ku ebyo ebyasaliddwawo abamiruka olwaleero. Kati nabategeezezza nti okusooka ekitugaanye neebazizza abantu bonna abaazimba FDC ne bagituusa bwe badde, nga mwe mulina tetukyalina mu biseera bino abaafa bonna tubajjukidde era ne tubayozaayoza olw'omulimu gw'ettendo ne baakola okutuusa wetwa. N'abo abali ku bisago era bangi ne atukuumidde wano nannyini maka gano Chairman Chapa Kalwanga yatiisatiisibwa ennyo nakati ng'awangaalira mu buwanganguse, abeera mu Zambia naye yasalawo waakiri agende ekifo ky'okwewaayo n'okulaba nti tugobebwa ebitundu bino. Kale ekyo bwe kiwedde ne mbagamba nti ensolo eri ku kizibu, kubanga emyaka gyaffe 2 tegifiiridde bwereere. Bye tukoze binafuyizizza abaawamba ensi yaffe. Olwaleero bayuuga nnyo, atalaba okuyuuga okwo yaba mukyamu. N'olwekyo mulimu gwaffe gusigadde mutono, naye omulimu guno nga bwe tumaliriza okwetegeka si gwa kibiina kimu kyokka, gwa bannayuganda bonna okwekolamu omulimu oba oli munnakibiina ki omulimu gw'okununula ensi yaffe si mulimu gwa kibiina mulimu gwa bannansi abawambiddwa okwenunula n'olwekyo ebibiina bituyambako mu lutalo olwo kuŋŋaanya abantu n'endowooza naye nga tulina n'okulaba nti n'abalala bonna abatali ba kibiina kyaffe bonna twegattira wamu ne tulumba etwetaasa eryekuwe eddimu erikyatuli mu maaso naye nga tulina okuwangula ebizza ebitugaana okutuuka gye tulaga okufuna okusooka okutiisibwatiisibwa okuteekebwako abantu baffe abamu ne bati ekyokubiri nannya abakulembeze ekyokubiri okugulirira kubanga bawamba eggwanga bawambiramu n'obugagga bwaffe be babwefuga era ne babukozesa kutugulirira nanyo okugulirira abakulembeze n'olwekyo bwe tuba bakuwangula tujja kuwangula sente zaffe oba kuwangulira mu bwavu bwaffe ne tubugumira ne twesiba ebbiri ne tulwana tuusa lwe tutuuka ekyokusatu nga tulina okuwangula pokopoko waabwe propaganda bwe balina omungi era ne mbajukiza omugenzi Kamala emirundi byayogedde ensangi ntono emabega nga tanajulukuka bwe yagambye nti yeyansibako kubanga nze nannyini kwetoli hoteeru n'ebirala nga era yali aluka agezaako okuzimba ekigamba nti nange nkolagana nabali Faki yagamba nti nze ndi ku lujja olw'emabega Museveni ali ku lw'omu maaso n'ebintu bwe bityo kale nno propaganda tulina okumwetegekera tulaba nti tukola emirimu gyaffe n'atatuwugula okututwala bali ekyokuna ekutugabanyaamu oolyawo n'okukoonaganya divide ebyo bwe tubiwangula olutalo tulinnyeeko era nze nga ssuubi ddene bategeezezza ekiseera kituuse kadde katono nnyo okulaba tuwangula kubanga n'atanategeera yoli yanafuwa olaba n'ab'omu nju ye baagala kumuwamba ng'akyaliwo kati bw'obanga onafuye era ebyo bye bikutuukako n'olwekyo ffe kaseera ke kano twekolemu omulimu n'ebyo bye twogeddeko okukola nga bitambula tetusaanye kujja maaso okununula ggwanga bijja kugenda mu maaso naleka weefube okununula eggwanga naye ng'agenda mu maaso
Tunde ku podium banaye. Tunde ku podium. Tunde ku podium. Tunde ku podium. Nali tumuleta hano ku podium. Kale bakusala ne bagenda.